Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel for episode 2 of building an Imperial Refinery in LEGO. In today's episode I get a lot of progress done on the cave, almost completing it, as well as starting the prototype for the outer edge of the pit. And I also go through the design for this little lamp you can see down in the corner here. So, don't forget to like this video and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss the next episode of this series. And without further ado, let's get into the progress on the cave. And so the cave, I decided to use a new terrain style, which is more of a layered mesa type terrain, and I really love how this turned out. You can see there are some gaps which let light through, but once the back is covered and all the rest of the terrain is in, this should be no problem because there will be no light coming through the back. I'm also very happy with how the ceiling looks and overall just how sturdy this whole area is for being a very loosely put together bit of terrain. It is pretty solid, and I've used a ton of different techniques, including hinges, ball joints, tons of different snot techniques, as well as quite a few loose pieces such as these cheese slopes here. Altogether, it makes a really nice looking bit of terrain. If I turn this light on, you can see I made this lantern here, which actually uses some really unique parts usage, so I will teach you how to build it right now. Okay everybody, so you will need these 3 pieces to build this little lantern. It's pretty simple, one of which is the steering wheel, which you will need to completely break this piece to get. You just snap off this top. Originally, I thought this came off pretty easily, but you do have to break it. And so that is a downside of this lantern build, but I think it looks really good. And I would recommend, if you don't mind breaking the steering wheel, building this. And so you will need a cylinder, which if you don't use a light, I would recommend using a different color than trans clear, just to make it pop a little more. And you want to put the end with the stud into the Darth Maul headpiece, and then just set the steering wheel on top. So this does get a little annoying because the steering wheel isn't connected, but it looks pretty good. And if you really wanted to, you could actually take the little piece of the steering wheel and just drop it in the top to close that off. So I'm really happy with this design, and I would recommend putting a light in it because it just makes it that much cooler. But without further ado, let's get into the progress I made on the exterior of the pit. Okay everybody, so you can see I was able to completely smooth out the exterior wall of the pit. Now, the only real problem is these 2 gaps here and here. They're not a super big deal, especially from a distance, but I would have loved if those weren't as noticeable. The way I was able to achieve this was pretty much the same as the others, which is just a ball joint connected to the wall. But if I remove this, you can see it gets a little more complicated in the center. I had to connect a rod with a couple clips so I could push these together closer, and so these would be at the right angle. The problem with that is that if you can see in there, it is a very tight space already, and putting it back you can see the bracket there and the clip actually make contact, And so let me know what you guys think about this design, if there's anything you think I should tweak about it. And anyways, that is sadly all the progress I was able to make this episode. Now, I'm sorry that there will be no episode or video period next weekend, but the weekend after that should be a banger and should be the completion of the pit, or at least close to. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and see you guys in episode 3 of building an Imperial Refinery in LEGO.